What's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. As 2020 is coming to a closing, I would just like to say thank you to all my new subscribers and friends that I've made this year through the card community. And today I wanted to take a moment and look back on my top 10 favorite decks that have come out this year. So without farther ado, let's get into the video, guys. Alright guys, so coming in at the number 10 spot for this year is going to be the Babylon Fontaines by Fontaine Cards. This is a collaboration between Fontaine and Babylon, like the clothing brand, which I've actually never heard of before these came out, so that's kind of cool. But these are one of 10,000, a very cool deck of cards. Unfortunately, I don't have the blacklight that comes with these. I bought it without. Because if I did, it would be like an extra 30 bucks just to get the blacklight with it, and to me that's not worth it. But I will put a clip somewhere of someone using a said blacklight on the deck so you can see the trailer or whatnot. But it's a cool deck, and it looks very cool under a blacklight, obviously, but I don't have one. But overall, the cards handle very well. I really like just the overall aesthetic of the deck, even though it's pretty simple, and it does have black borders, which got it some hate. It's actually one of my favorite black borders deck, and I don't have a lot of those. As you can see, there is like nicking and things like that. But overall, I think it's a really good deck, and that's why it beat out a couple others on this top 10 list. And so yeah, moving on. Alright, coming in at number 2, but before I do show you this, I do want to also mention that once we get done with the first 5, so 10 through 6, I will go over the 2 honorable mentions deck I have that didn't make the cut, but I thought were still worth mentioning. Anyway, coming in at number 9 are the Low Poly Sharks by Unrivaled Decks. When I reviewed this deck, I said it was probably going to be a top 10 deck of the year, maybe, and it is. It is truly one of my favorite decks I've received this year. I really love the quality and just the artsmanship and craftsmanship that went into perfecting this deck, and I think that really makes it shine. Just the attention to detail and the geometry within the cards really makes it just that much better, in my opinion. Also, if you haven't watched the review to this, it's a pretty recent video of mine. Go check it out, and I also have a playlist for reviews which you can check out as well. Anyway, moving on to number 8. Alright, coming in at number 8 is a deck of cards that I've actually collabed on with someone. I've collabed with the creator of these deck of cards. So think back, who is the one like ginormous creator I have ever done anything with on this channel? And that would be Kier Gomes. Normally, I don't like thicker decks, but this deck really, really resonates with me, not only because of our collaboration, but just because I really like the attention to detail and the style that went into this deck. It's also good for cardistry and magic, which you can't get normally both in a deck, but they made it to where you can, and it's a very, very cool deck. It's obviously probably more geared for magic since Kier is a magician, of course, but I'm definitely happy to own this deck. My V2s are going to be coming in soon, and that will be with a huge unboxing video, by the way, like a very, very big unboxing video. But yeah, just an all-around great deck, and that's why it makes the top 10 list. Anyway, moving on to number 7. Alright guys, coming in at number 7 are the Cactus playing cards. So I do believe this Kickstarter was in 2020. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, see, the seal says 2020 right there, so I assume it is. But when I reviewed these, I did say they were going to be one of my favorite decks of 2020, and I said probably even a top 10 deck of 2020. And I did not lie when I said that. I really, really, really love this deck. It's super thin. I also reviewed this if you guys want to check that out. I think, yeah, I did do a review on this actually. But yeah, it's just a super, really awesome deck. The cards feel really great. The people that make these cards are really awesome people. I had a chance to work with them, and this was a sponsored video. Not this video, but the video I did on these was a sponsored video. But I just really, really love this deck, and I'm very happy that I was able to work with some awesome people to make that other review possible. So yeah, definitely love it, and that's why it gets the number 7 spot. Anyway, moving on to number 6. All right, guys, coming in at number 6, this will be the last deck before the honorable mentions, are the Aquaberry Fontaines. When these dropped this year, I was so excited because of the color. Now, I know what I've said in the past. I know I've been very angry at the company of Fontaine in the past. But come on, just look at them. They're so cool. Honestly, I'm not too mad at them anymore. Zach's kind of gotten his act together and not brandished his company's name too bad, even though they lost like 17,000 Instagram followers. But we're not going to talk about that. But it was a big year for Fontaine. They dropped, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, like 6 decks, 6 or 7 decks, I think. Yeah, 7. Yeah, I think 7 decks so far, because the new ones that are coming out as of this video haven't come out yet. But yeah, this is a really cool deck. It is printed by Dex Playing Card Company, I think. It's the same thing that the Echoes are printed on by Lotus and Hen. These also came out this year, and these would have made the list, but they're not opened, and I don't want to open them just so I can see if they make the list or not. So that's why I did put these on here, because they're the same stock, and I definitely really enjoyed this Fontaine deck, much more so than the Raspberry deck, which is like my least favorite Fontaine deck that I own. But yeah, definitely. Anyway, moving on to the honorable mentions before we get to the top 5. All right, guys, so here are our 2 honorable mentions. The Goblins by Gemini Decks and the Touch Offset by Touch Playing Cards. Both really awesome decks. I haven't reviewed either one yet, although I did just unbox these. And I'm very happy with both of them. They both really almost made the full top 10, but didn't quite make the cut, but they're just super cool. I love the gold goblins. I don't have any of the green ones, but the gold just pops. It just looks sweet, and there's no complaining. Like, it's so cool. You can't go wrong with these. Also, if you want me to review any of these decks, please let me know down in the comments below. I do 99% of the suggestions you guys ask for. So if there is anything you'd like me to do, please let me know. Let's take a look at these. However, a lot of people weren't super big on the concept of these cards, but that's like the whole idea, pretty much. Oh yeah, I forget that there's only like 1 ad card. But these are printed by USPCC, and they're really cool when you do flourishes and packet cuts and stuff, because they're all different. Kind of reminds me of like a Luke Whitty deck. Ooh, I wonder if we'll see any Luke Whitty in this video. Maybe. If you follow my Instagram, you'll see. But yeah, definitely a cool honorable mentions. Now moving on to the top 5. All right, guys. Coming in at number 5 has really been like a representation of this year for so many people, and just the things it's caused. But I did really like this deck, not only because of how it feels, but just because of what it represents. The COVID-19 deck by Luke Whitty obviously came out this year as a Kickstarter, and it helps support people in need from the effects of COVID-19. It's printed by Cartamundi, which you guys know is not my favorite, but I really took some time and thought into this one, and I really wanted to put it in the top 5 just because of what it meant, and also the cards actually feel pretty nice. Like, I can't complain. I unfortunately was not a original Kickstarter backer of this, but I did buy the cards off of a second like retailer shop from I bought them from Steve. So I actually missed the deadline to get the Kickstarter, so I was like, well, I just gotta buy them right when they come out. But yeah, definitely a really cool deck. I like what it represents. Moving on to number 4. All right, guys, so almost to the top 3, but we're at number 4. So what is my 4th favorite deck of the year? It's going to be the Squeezers V3 by Organic Playing Cards. Organic Playing Cards had a heck of a year with releasing, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 decks this year. That's really crazy for them. And I know playing card production went up for a lot of companies normally. But I was really happy to see all these new decks come out for OPC, and I bought every single one of their new decks. Even if I always have like complications with the shipping, because apparently the people at Gambler's Warehouse in the distribution centers where they ship out don't like my address because they always find something wrong with my order. But anyway, these are printed on USBCC, I think thin stock, something like that. They feel really awesome. I think I did review these, maybe. I think I did, actually. But a very, very cool deck nonetheless. It's really thin. I really like the colors that they incorporated into it, making it a grapefruit, which I think is just pretty sweet. But yeah, let me know what you think of these, and if you've watched my video on them or not. I really, really love them, and they use metallic ink in the faces, as you see there. Just makes these cards really stand out to me. Anyway, now we're going to move on to the top 3. But yeah, let's move on to number 3. All right, guys, so top 3. These decks are really, really important. And so what is my third favorite deck that has ever come out this year? This deck I slept on. I didn't think was going to be that good. I didn't think it was going to live up to the hype that people gave it. But I opened it, and it has very, very quickly become one of my favorite decks of all time. So, what is it? It's the Anyone Reds Houndstooth playing cards. These things are sweet. I really didn't know what to expect because I'd never owned a deck of Houndstooth before. I have Anyone decks, but there's just the stock that this printed on. I don't know what it is. I think it's USBCC, something by USBCC. It's so nice. The cards are thicker than normal, but very smooth and soft and springy. And they're just an all-around really awesome deck to use. And it really has become one of my favorite decks to use all time. If I ever make an all-time favorite decks video, which I probably never will because there are so many new decks that keep coming out and my lists always keep changing. Matter of fact, I changed this list probably 4 or 5 times before I even released that Instagram post I did. But yeah, definitely an awesome deck. Anyway, moving on to number 2. All right, guys, so number 2 is also a really, really cool deck. It's the Halloween Fontaines. I didn't buy these at the drop because I can never get stuff at the drops normally. But these cards are super sweet. I love the fact that they incorporated scenes from the movie Scream, I think? No, not Scream. It's something. It's Friday the 13th. That's what it is. Throughout, like, for the court cards. I think that's really sweet. The cards themselves are very thin, which I love. Not quite as thin as the Wine Fontaines, which are, like, my all-time favorite. And they might be printed on the same stock, I'm not sure. But these cards are just super sweet, really great for cardistry. If you haven't picked these up, this is actually one of my favorite Fontaine decks. If you guys are ever going to pick one up, I would very highly suggest this deck first. It's just sick, guys. It really just is. I really, really love it, and that's why it made the number 2 spot on my top 10 decks of 2020. All right, guys, so last one, Moment of Truth. What is my favorite deck that has come out this year? Here's a hint. If you know me, and only a few people know this, so the video I did for it has by far been my favorite intro I've ever done for a video. So if you know that, then you know what this is. But you're fixing to find out anyway. It's the Peeler's V3 by Organic Playing Cards. We already have seen Organic Playing Cards earlier on this list at the number 4 spot. We also had 3 decks of Fontaines in here as well. But I really just had to put this in here. I struggled on deciding if I wanted to have 2 Organic Playing Cards decks in the works. And I almost put 3 in. But this deck, it's gold. Like, come on. It's literally shiny metallic gold. It is amazing. This deck is one of my favorites this year. My favorite, actually, deck this year. Obviously, I have other decks that I haven't opened yet because I'm waiting for a video. So this very well changed. But as of now, this is my favorite deck of this year until I open others and maybe change it. But I really love this deck. If you haven't picked any of these up for yourself, go check them out. They have really cool metallic ink for the faces. And it's just overall a very beautiful deck. It's printed on thin stock, not crushed. I think it's just thin. Very good for cardistry. And they're freaking gold, people. Like, come on. Also, if you haven't watched my review on this, please do so. I really, really spent a lot of time making that video. And it's by far my favorite intro to a video that I've ever done. Anyway, that's about it. So let's go to the outro. All right, guys, so that about sums it up for my top 10 decks of 2020. I really hope you enjoyed, and I really appreciate all the people that have supported me and helped me throughout this crazy year. Thank you to everyone who has sponsored the video. Unrivaled Decks with the Low Poly Sharks, Cactus playing cards with their V1 playing cards, Bear Smith with his Brown Bear decks, and a bunch of others. I really appreciate you all. Thank you to all the playing card companies and retailers, shops, and things that continue to let us be able to buy new cards and things like that, and keep our drive to make new content and get new decks going. I really appreciate you guys as well. Anyway, I hope everyone has a great New Year's and a great 2021. And this video will probably come out after that. But yeah, anyway, that's about all I got. I'm the Wooden Cardist. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.